Hi everyone, I'm David Kons, I'm founder of Leafcloud, and I did not feel like doing the talk I usually do. So the title that you saw previously, scratch that. I'm going to talk about something completely different. Efficiency. Efficiency is often thought of as sort of the holy grail of what we have to do to get things greener. However, the more I'm in this industry, the less I believe that that is true. I actually believe that it might be untrue. So we've been making IT more efficient for the past 100 years almost. Right? So this is a logarithmic index of Moore's law, and here in the top you have like NVIDIA B100s and some modern ASICs and analog ASICs that are extremely efficient at doing computation. Hundreds and thousands of times, millions of times more efficient than they were even 10, 20 years ago. However, we're not seeing actual reductions in energy use. Same thing goes for PUEs of data centers where we're cooling more effective, where we're doing all of these things in a more efficient way. And if you look at the reality of all of these news articles these days, you see a very clear picture. The picture is we're increasing the energy use of IT at a very, very rapid pace. This is a bit of an older paper, but definitely worth a read. But McKinsey did a big research, and they suggested tripling of energy demand in Europe over the next couple of years. And they're sort of ecstatic about all of the business opportunities that this will present. And that's, I understand that. I also like business, and I also like growing them. But at the same time, it worries me because we're massively increasing demand. And this is what's called the Jevons paradox. And the Jevons paradox is a fairly old economic concept where you think that the increase in efficiency will reduce its use of the primary resource. And then there's the rebound effect, which is sort of the middleman of that, where it rebounds back up to its old case. And Jevons paradox is where it goes beyond it. So you have a coal-fired power plant, you make it more effective, increase the business case of having coal-fired power plants, so we use more coal. LED lights, we're now using more energy for lights than ever. Why? Because it's way more effective. Or the business case of putting lights outside your building or not turning them off just becomes very logical. You don't turn them off. What, it costs an extra 50 euros a month? Who cares, right? So AI is a very prominent example of that, right? We've created something that is the most efficient way of asking a computer a question. So what do? We ask computers questions all day. If you could rent an AI that's just as good as doing your job as you are, how many of them? You'd hire as much as you could pay for, right? So where are the limits of our compute hunger, in a way, right? And you see this with Amazon and Microsoft buying nuclear power. They're all still putting data centers right next to coal-fired power plants, and then saying they buy green energy in Norway and claiming that's green. And I think it's a bit more complex than that. So what does matter is effective use of IT, not efficient use of IT. There's a difference, but it's hard to sort of pinpoint where the boundary exactly lies. I did a bit of work about that today. Oh, that doesn't fit. Let's see if I can make it fit. There we go. That's better. So compute efficiency often comes in the forms of, like I said, Moore's law, making the chip's performance per watt higher. But network efficiency gains are a massive boost in this as well. So you can see that in the previous slide as well. Like, large chunk of this growth is actually networking. It's not just the data centers itself or the consumer devices themselves. It's the networking and the data centers that are growing. And we could not have done network or Netflix in 2005 without the efficiency increase in networking. It would be simply impossible. The distribution model of distributing CDs to everyone, the sneaker net in that sense, was way more effective back then than it is now, right? Sneaker net still is more effective if you look at it in a very careful ways. But so what is effectiveness? Which kind of use case points to effectiveness? And there are some clear examples, but it's hard to find out. And if you have some example, I'd love to hear it, because it's hard to find and pinpoint actual very clear examples of this. So one of the things I'm thinking of is like monitoring and management systems, right? If you monitor systems, if your business value, what you want to achieve as a business, that's done with as little as resources as possible, then that's effectiveness, because you're achieving your goals by consuming as little as possible. It's not the efficiency of doing that business goal, right? That's a different thing. Smart buildings or IoT tech, turning off heating in room systems when they're not occupied, recycling, products as service models, leasing your bike, leasing your car, leasing your IT. All of these things cause IT to be used for a longer period of time. They generally create incentives at scale that you wouldn't have at a smaller scale. The thing we do, server heat use in buildings, that's not about efficiency, it's about effectiveness. So even though the total scale of IT could grow by a lot, reusing that heat, no matter how efficient those servers are, is always going to be effective. Another major one is OLAP, website analytics. It's a massive, massive economy that is enabled by database efficiencies that otherwise would be unaffordable to run at scale. But nowadays we have so efficient hardware, so efficient machines that we can analyze network traffic of millions of users on websites. We no other way to do that business. And it's a pretty massive scale in terms of the carbon impact on our total IT as well. So I'd love to find more and find more tangible examples. And if you like these already, I hope I did the right thing. So a little bit about us. We're a public cloud provider, and we put servers where heat is needed. So think elderly homes, apartment complexes, swimming pools. Doing that makes it more cost effective because we didn't build a stupid data center, but also very green because they actually use the tap water in a different way. This is also safe by basically having the storage inside of the data center and then having the line encrypted, network encrypted, memory encrypted, boot drive encrypted. So if there's someone steals a server out of the rack here, they don't actually have anything in hand. I'd love to talk about your workload on us, but this is all about us.